And we are live. I'm just gonna try to put this live also on Instagram. Let's see if that works. I'm not so sure that works. I'm gonna try to do this live on Instagram, so just stay with me. Sean Perio, MMA. Why is it not letting me?
You want to change my name? Let's edit it.
And I need to add. Actually, well, it's not letting me. Well, we're gonna skip that. We're gonna skip that. We're gonna do it next time.
Okay.
So, welcome back, guys, to the show. Today, I have again my dear friend. I'm honored to know this legend. I've met him several times. He is not only a pride to the nation of Israel, he is a pride to the Druze worldwide, a young MMA fighter that if you followed my channel or you followed his channel, you know that he's been working really hard to get his last fight where he won in a magnificent first round fight with a head kick. And right after, when everybody in the crowd was cheering and telling him, finish him, and go and go and go, he actually chose to show mercy on his opponent because he saw that he was down. And in many, many occasions, if anyone follow UFC or MMA, this can lose you the fight. I've seen great fighters who lost the fight because they showed that sign of mercy sometimes. But in his case, he knew that the job was done. And I mean, that was just insane. So, anyway, he's going to have a new fight coming soon, and we're going to talk about it. But just one question. Were you worried that that sign of mercy that you showed in that fight, or call it that way, might cost you the fight? Because your corner was shouting, keep going,
Yeah.
finish him.
No, not at all. I wanted it to keep going. I knew I was levels above this guy. I felt it, and once this happened, I wanted him to get up and give me a little bit more ring time, more time to showcase my skills. I was just opening up. It was probably with the first strikes I threw, right there. It hit him. One of the first reads I had on him was this high kick when he moved his head a lot. So I was eager to keep going, to keep looking for stuff, but it didn't happen. And this time I have a harder challenge, a tougher challenge, and I will not show a lot of mercy if the time comes. That's for sure.
Well, maybe tell us a little bit about what is the next challenge that is coming ahead of you.
Okay, so I'm gonna fight in Florianopolis just next month, 13th December. It's a state here in Brazil, the state where Gian Silva was born. You great UFC fighter that is like a big brother for me. So this opportunity came. I just came back from Lima, Peru, cornering my friend, and I was hoping to fight in Argentina, and things didn't happen my way. And suddenly this opportunity came, so I took it. And this opponent is interesting because he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He's been a black belt since 2016, or even more, I think. So he's over 10 years of experience as a black belt. He's very good ground game. He have, from what I heard, bombs in his hands, and I think he feels comfortable taking this fight. Although I think he's entering my realm. He will enter traps in there, and it will be again a good fight to showcase my skills, but against an opponent that I cannot slack off. 7 wins he have, 7 finishes. He don't go for decisions, so it's gonna be a
Wow.
fun one, entertaining one.
Man, most people, if you tell them that they're going to enter a ring with someone who's a black belt in jiu-jitsu and 10 years fighting, they will just disappear, stop answering your WhatsApps, like not. But you're like, you sound eager to go there, you sound
Yeah,
eager to
it's a
go.
challenge.
That's
It's a
amazing, that's
challenge.
amazing. Now, your background is also jiu-jitsu, right? Or can you tell us a little bit about the background that you came?
You can say jiu-jitsu was the first art that I competed in, that's for sure. I always did all the martial arts. I did from a young age boxing, kickboxing, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, everything. I competed early on in jiu-jitsu because that's what we had in Israel, a lot of competitions every week. So I did that. I don't think that it's similar to the Brazilian scene. Here they have much more higher level and much more competitions. So I think this maybe is one of my backgrounds, but it is not where I'm looking to get the fight mostly. I'm very comfortable in there. I'm fighting with black belts day in, day out, competitive black belts. I'm learning from them. Rodolfo Vieira, that fought yesterday, is one of my partners. A lot of very good fighters right here. But I'm known as a striker, and I like being a striker. It's very hard to take me down, very hard to keep me down. I can take down my opponent, and I'm looking to damage always, to entertain, to damage, and to take more steps forward.
Wow. Can you like spot sometimes when you see a new fighter that is coming? It doesn't have to be new, but someone that you haven't seen before, and just after a few quick rounds, can you see already that he is a jiu-jitsu background, or he is a striker, he's a boxer, or it takes a little bit longer to see? Like do these disciplines, do they show any marks on the fighter?
Depends on how what the style of the fighter first of all is, how good he is in those arts, and if we're talking MMA, how we transition it to MMA. A lot of good boxers, good jiu-jitsu fighters, good wrestlers, when they come to MMA, suddenly they're wrestling for MMA, they're jiu-jitsu for MMA, they're striking for MMA is very bad suddenly. And if I would do just boxing, just jiu-jitsu with this guy, let's say, maybe he submits me 5 times out of 10, but in MMA, maybe I submit him. So it's very different when you have strikes, when you have all this wrestling heavy approach, you have a lot of emphasis on footwork and managing the distance. Everything becomes different. Everything, 5 minute rounds, pacing. So I can notice usually where he wants to take the ground. If he's panicking to just touch me and get me, so I say, man, you want to go there. So maybe he's a wrestler or a grappler. If he takes me down, maybe he's more of a wrestler. If he don't, then a jiu-jitsu guy probably. But either case, it's very hard to get me there.
Yeah, yeah. Someone is asking in the crowd, and I think that's an important question to throw it out here right now in the beginning of the call. Where can people watch the fight? Do we have already, or are we gonna know closer to the fight?
I believe closer to the fight. I believe they're gonna do kind of pay-per-view here in Brazil. I hope like people abroad can see it. I will make sure to bring media men with me and everything. If I can bring you in, someone can
Oh,
sponsor that. I would love to, and you live that one.
oh
And
man, did you
yeah,
guys hear that? If
let's
someone
say
can sponsor a flight to Brazil, I'm gonna go and be in his corner. Right, like literally, I'll
sure.
be there. I'll be there.
That's
Sure,
my
man.
media man right there.
What an honor. Hey, I'll throw some tips. I'll pretend like I know what I'm saying. You don't have to follow. But you know what? A funny thing is, one time my brother, he was a professional football player. You met him, Slim,
Yeah.
and he was an amazing striker, really good striker. But he was trying to play too much like a team, which is good. And his team was not doing good and was losing. And I just came for the first time to watch his game. I was in the army. I was an officer in the army, so I knew strategy, but maybe not football. And I looked at him, and he had really strong kicks. Like I think when he was a teenager, he was considered one of the strongest kickers, like in Israel in his years. And I called him quickly to the fence and Slim, listen, every time you get the ball on your chest, drop it down, kick it. Doesn't matter if it's gonna go in the goal or not, just kick it. I'm telling you, these kicks, they boost the morale, they boost the crowd. Everybody go like, whoa, go exciting. Do a few of these kicks, lift up the morale, get your confidence, and then keep going. Because right now your guys are fumbling. He looked at me and he went in and did that, and they won the game. And later on, he came and told me that was one of the best advices that I've got because he just needed it. So I felt like, I was able to spot a strategic need. I'm not saying that I'm gonna be, better than the people in your corner. Absolutely not. But I was saying, maybe I'll throw a good word. Maybe I'll throw a good word
Yeah.
to the people who are watching my channel. You might be new. I mean, you might have seen a few videos. I've interviewed Sean already a few times. He's one of, he is my favorite MMA fighter. MMA is mixed martial arts. It's probably my favorite sport, if not one of the favorite sports that I love out there, including paintball and others. And what I like about it, it's as it is, mixed martial arts. Bring people from different kind of martial arts where you're doing the ultimate test of a fighter. And it could be people that came from jiu-jitsu, from boxing, from kickboxing, from judo, from karate. Sometimes you see like rare karate fighters there. I don't know if there's any serious judo fighter that is out there, but you see people that are coming from different fights and they put their art to the test, and often they need to also adapt. So someone who was only good at grappling is going to be very hard for him if he only does grappling. So he's gonna have to know how to fight, how to block boxes. Otherwise, the first round the boxer will take him straight away. Maybe the third, fourth round he might take him. So you need to really kind of balance yourself with someone who is just pure boxer. Someone with leg kicks or down a ground game will take him. So they need to really bring up and balance, and that's what I like about it, because it's a real life test to that martial art, and can it work there in the cage or not. Some of you
Yeah.
might have heard about the most famous MMA fighting platform, which is called UFC. Correct me if I'm saying anything wrong, Sean.
Now, I
UFC.
want to add on the strategy wise. What you said there is beautiful because MMA is so complex, more complex than any other, almost maybe even more than any other game in the world. When you get more deep into MMA, you understand because of all the arts how complex it is. It's the art of war at its finest. And George Foreman once said, to be a good fighter, you need to be a good liar first, and he was a boxer. And you can come from a judo, from boxing, from everything, but you need to use the right tactics, the right strategy to make it work. Because if someone knows you're going to take him down, or if someone knows you want to stand with him, how will you do that actually when he just tried to prevent that? So you need to lie, maybe to box with him to take him down. And it needs to be a real lie, a real that gains respect from the other guy. Because if he sees that you're just trying to lie to him, you're just trying to box to get a shot, he will not respect that. He will keep his distance. But if he really sees that you're trying to strike with him, you're trying to take his head off, maybe then he tries to return you, then you shoot. And all the other way. So it's a lot of strategy in it. Everybody knows their strength and weakness, but a lot of times it's 50-50 because two guys, competitive guys, are fighting. But the one with the better strategy usually elevates that 50-50 chance to more. And that's the beauty of the art of war. That's the camp I'm coming in, and that they emphasize this strategy, this tactics. So I love that, and that's why it's a beautiful sport to me.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about this camp. By the way, anyone who want to watch Sean's fighting, the best way, if you ask me, is go follow him on Instagram, follow him on YouTube. He have a YouTube channel where he breaks down fights and explains in Hebrew and in English. I will leave the links in the end of the video, but I think best way would probably follow him on Instagram, where you can see in his stories he posts quite often about his journey, about his training, about the camps that he goes to, about his friends. They have a whole team there of Brazilians and Israelis and Jewish and non-Jewish and Druze, where they're training together, actually from all religions, training together. And you can probably hear the best about it. So anyone who's watching this, do me a favor, go and follow him. And if you're interested in fighting or interested in want to support an Israeli Druze MMA fighter that is aspiring to become world champion one day, and I hope that we become world champion very very soon, and then they can come back to this video before you were a world champion and put it out there. But go and follow this guy. But tell us a little bit about this really cool camp that you have.
Yeah, so this is the fighting nerds. They branded themselves on being smart in a very brutal and violent game, and using our head and our wits to win fights instead of just brute force. And this is, I believe, this is their culture here and their way of thinking. Everything is always with a reason. Everything have its reason to do it. Our strategy, our tactic. We gather a lot of intelligence, a lot of information about opponents, about ourselves, and we attack specifically always the stuff we need to work on. People see it as a very striking heavy gym, which they're right, because they understood that the UFC wants more striker and wants more knockouts. But believe me, they are very, very complete. They are working everything. Their wrestling is getting much better. Their jiu-jitsu is getting much better. And they do everything they can to become complete fighters and win the fight the best they can. So I really love their approach. I currently just started working for my game plan with the data analysis of the gym. They have a data analysis that used to work for NASA. So he takes all the information from the opponent, from you, from everything. He puts it in his library and his softwares and everything. He gets a lot of tweaks every time this guy steps. What happens every time you step? What happened before? What happened after? And he looks for patterns and then how to exploit the patterns best. And it's very very nice to have a team like that when you have the guy with the intelligence and the data analysis, and then the guys who know the techniques, the coaches, the everything, the jiu-jitsu, the wrestling, and then you have the head coach who is also working for the tactic. and you as the machine going in there. So it's a very beautiful gym that everything is packed out together like I used to dream when I was a child for a gym to have. But so
Here
yeah,
you
I
go.
love this gym.
You're living the dream, man. By the way,
Yeah.
Inora has joined the show, and I love it. Every time Inora joins the show, I know that I have a good moderator right now moderating the show, and she usually puts the right link. So hopefully, Inora, if you're hearing that, if you can find Sean Perro's Instagram and just put it out there. But just shout out to Inora, the best moderator out there that is doing an incredible job behind the scenes, helping many influencers. I would call
Thank you.
them pro West, pro democracy, pro Israel influencers, and pro Druze. Speaking about the fighting nerds, one of the favorite things that I liked is whenever you have the posters behind there where you can see the picture of Einstein and the picture of Bruce Lee, kind of, showing both, a very smart and clever fighter, and in general, a very strategic and a very smart, scientist, Jewish scientist,
Yes.
by the way. But one of the quotes that I remember the most that helped me understand how clever is that fight and analyzing the fight was actually from George St. Pierre. He
He was
had,
a fighting nerd.
yeah, he was a fighting nerd for sure. He had a fight that he said that he learned the rhythm of his opponent.
BJ Penn. Yeah.
Yeah, he was learning the rhythm of his opponent and literally timing the rhythm of the moves, of the punches, and like almost the music of that fight. And then he knew how to counter the rhythm. So he was working more on countering the rhythm of the opponent, and that what gave him the edge to defeat him because he literally countered everything that he did. He exhausted him. He blocked everything before it came. He counterattacked everything before it came. And I find this is just such a cool way to like understanding the matrix of a fight. But
Mm.
you need to be fighter on a high level to do that. Like you need to be someone that got everything under control already, that you can think outside the box and play a violin while you're sailing a ship, a pirate ship in the middle of the ocean. Like you're really there. You're really
You,
on
you know,
top
you
of it.
know, you need to slow things down. That's for sure. You need to get in there and really analyze live what's happening in front of you. Because even if you prepared a lot, this guy might bring something else. You need to slow things down, like George St. Pierre used to do. And then, if you control the fight good, you can start let all your tactics and strategy fall into play. And George St. Pierre did that beautifully. He was calm under pressure. A lot of times he had really a 50-50 matches with his opponent. Sometimes it was to his opponent's favor if you look like, uh, technically and like a background, and he wants to take the guy down, but this is a very good guy on the ground. How will he beat him? And he did a lot of small stuff, nerdy stuff, let's call it like that, that won him very, very hard fights and kept him in the top for such a long time. So he's kind of the epitome of this strategic thinking that got him to be one of the greatest of all times.
Yeah,
And
the guy was a
I love
legend.
him.
I actually have a surprise for you guys. While I go fetch the surprise here in the studio, Sean, tell us a little bit about your YouTube channel so people can go follow you. I'll be back in like a few seconds.
Okay, so guys, my YouTube channel is where I share a lot of my journey. I was just now in Lima, Peru, with one of my friends, Kibedi Gordon, which is another Israeli that comes from an elite combat family. All of them are professional fighters, Muay Thai, MMA, and also Eli Barzilai, which is a professional MMA fighter, just fought for a LFA World Championship in MMA. We were all there for Kibedi fight. What happened there? We're good? We're good?
Yeah,
You hear?
you're good.
Okay, so we're just coming back from Lima, Peru, and I documented the whole thing, the weight cut, the face-offs, just arriving there to see beautiful Lima, Peru fight day, the thrill and the agony, what we expected. So just, oh, let's go, a fighting nerd. I don't have my glasses here. So, guys, if you want to see inside the fighting nerd, I have two channels. I have one in English, one in Hebrew. and I document a lot of stuff in there, a lot of inside the camp stuff. All my fights are in there, my full fights, and a lot of vlogs, a lot of breakdowns, and I believe you will benefit from that.
Absolutely. By the way, guys, I got these glasses from Sean with the same shirt that he's wearing. I should have worn it for this episode, but it was so spontaneous. From the fighting nerds, go follow these legends. In general, the whole club is fascinating. I started following a lot of the fighters there. One of them is a very famous UFC fighter that is a contender, hopefully world champion one day. He was actually interviewed even by the Israeli TV about his stand as a Christian, as a Brazilian, with the Jewish people, with Israel during October 7 and after. Many of the fighters are either, some of them are Israelis, some of them are from the Philippines and the other countries that are, Jewish, who grew up in Israel as well and traveled the world and are fighting there. But in general, it's just mostly young fighters that are fascinated. Oh, what happened here? I'm hearing myself twice here.
We don't hear it twice, so it's
You
good.
don't hear me twice? Okay. So it's young fighters that are fascinated and doing everything they can to go and work hard, train hard, and get ready for the next fight. And often they can end up training for months, sometimes, not knowing what's going to be the next fight. We all hear about the big ones that already made it, and we always love to hear the journey story, but there's a lot of people that are working so hard and haven't made it yet. And a lot of time, if you want to find people to support, I think go and check that club, Fighting Nerds, where you can find the fighter that you like the most. In general, I recommend Sean right here. He's my favorite there, but in general, you know highly appreciate if you can do that. Can you tell us a little bit of how does a training day looks like before preparing for a fight like that, Sean?
Yeah, preparing for a fight is just becoming much more specific. It's usually almost always it's 2 to 3 times a day session. I like doing 2 sessions. Sometimes they're longer, they're shorter. Sometimes it's 2 sessions just in a row, like a technical one, then a conditioning one, and we try to push as much as we can without burning ourselves for a long time. Like you said, we never know when is our next fight, so we just try to stay ready always and keep evolving ourselves. Right now in a fight, with a fight coming up, it's a lot of specific stuff, a lot of coaching, of drilling, getting the same size of partners of my opponent, same style, doing over and over and over and over like an orchestra, repeating stuff that might happen in the fight, doing the sparring sessions here, which is every Friday. It's like a fight. Everybody is watching, sometimes 50 or more guys, sometimes people out of the gym, and you get in there for 3 rounds with another guy who tries to take your head off, just with a lot of protection, let's say. So it's every week is like kind of a testing of your skills and see if you're developing, plus a lot of struggle because it's a lot of hard work. Many people crumble under that. Many people that started this professional journey thought, oh, okay, it's gonna be a fun one. We're doing what we love, MMA, but then you get the harsh truth that it's also a very very hard sport, a very painful sport that a lot of times requires sacrifice. And every week here you encounter struggle and you push through it and you keep your head high, and that's it. That's how you make it to the top, day by day, persistence and trying to get better.
Yeah. So by the way, I want to repeat this again. Sean have invited me to be in his corner in the next fight. So if anyone watching this video right now and want to sponsor a ticket, why not? Let's try. A ticket for Brazil from Germany. I'll be in it and I'll be in the corner there with a Druze and Israeli flag cheering for this fight. I would love that. Who knows? Let's try it. I see his internet is falling sometimes, so we're gonna keep talking as he jumps back into the show. Someone here Sandra asked, who is the guy? Let me explain to you who is the guy. Sean, welcome back. So, for those of you who don't know, I got to know Sean even though we grew up in the same village, basically, like he was literally a village next to mine, I haven't met him. He's a Druze that was born in Israel, lived most of his life in the Jewish city of Tel Aviv, went back to the village to live there. So we have this dual identity of, living among the Jews and among the Christians and living among the Druze, but also as an Israeli. He understands the city life and the village life. But what caught my mind is there was a fight that suddenly out of nowhere I see a UFC fighter or MMA fighter standing with the Israeli flag and the Druze flag. He had it mixed kind of on his shoulders, and after a victory he went on his knees and he was like praying and being thankful. And I found it to be super brave that during the time where you had so much hatred and many celebrities and others refused to stand by Israel, even though they were Jews, or even though, they always advocate about women's right and humans' right and children's right. Then October 7 happens and all these things were violated terribly, but they refused to speak. Suddenly they became silent. And during that time, the people who actually were brave enough to stand there, especially to go into a cage to fight and showing who am I standing with and what are my beliefs. So that's when I saw Son. I saw suddenly this image of this young guy who's a Druze fighter going there and proudly standing with the Israeli flag and the Druze flag and showing, his alliance to the place that he grew up with, and also talking to him later on. I mean, I will let him share it, but he shared with me that a lot of his friends were the ones who went to fight on October 7th. So, can you share with us a little bit what made you make that decision to wear the Druze flag and the Israeli flag in this very controversial time, maybe scary time to show support to Israel, but you chose to do that? What led you to do that?
I didn't have a bit or an ounce of fear to do that. I knew my identity. I knew the truth. I knew where I'm living. I was in the army. I know everything. And the moment October 7th happened, and my friends, some of them died, some of them injured, some of them lost friends, and a lot of them went to fight. I stayed there because I'm an athlete. I couldn't just join the army. And what could I do but use my platform to share? So, uh, other than that, I knew we're a good country, and I knew we just felt the horrors of October 7th, and I knew that
While he's reconnecting again, he's in Brazil, and sometimes they have a little bit of connection problems. So, to me, it was inspiring because we all saw how silent the world became, especially from the world of celebrities. And you're all thinking, like, come on, guys. Like, some of you are literally Israeli celebrities. Some of you are, Jewish or Christian, standing with the same values. Why are you being so quiet? And in one way, I mean, I don't want to say I understand it, but in one way, just to kind of be explain their side, when you live in an industry that is like Hollywood or, very left wing, cancel culture, unforgiving culture, and you're an actor who spent all your life, trying to get there, and now you're going to lose all your contacts because you show your support to a country. So some of them were afraid, some were just brave and said that's where I draw the red line. Anyway, Sean, you're back.
yeah. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, I think Brazilian internet is not making me a favor today. So, anyways, and for me to lift that flag was the first thing I knew. I knew after October 7th, 1 week after, for sure, the whole world will say how horrible we are. They will say how like Jewish people are just the evil satanic people that they are not, and I knew all these lies from before because I knew a lot of the propagandas that's going out there. I've taken a lot of fire of it even before October 7th. But I knew that this moment of October 7th just showed the world this, and everybody will forget it. And I knew it. And 1 week after, same thing happened. And I couldn't stay silent, especially as a Druze, as an Arab. I wanted to lift it high to show you this is not an apartheid. This is not a satanic state. This is a democratic, beautiful state that have all religions in it, that have all care, that gives everybody opportunities. And the ones that are suffering, the Palestinians, okay, they are not suffering because of the Israelis. They are suffering because of their leaders, but it's always on the Israelis that take care of those Palestinians, take them to their hospitals, take care of them, do stuff. So it just this kind of how you say tzviut, this hypocrisy
Hypocrisy.
just killed. I couldn't live with myself with a straight face knowing that the truth is out there. We know the truth, and everybody around the world that are also not from here, but some people even from Israel, are just turning their head the other way and just looking it from a different perspective, which a lot of them, yeah, there is like people dying, Palestinians, they live horrible life, but it's not because of the things they tell you, you know. So I couldn't just say it. So, and I don't want to get political or something, but just lifting that flag and saying, hey, I'm an Israeli Arab, I'm a Druze, and I live a good life here in Israel, and they take care of everybody around here. And come see me next time you say we're living under apartheid, we're living bad, or whatsoever. And I think that speaks louder. I think when I get to the UFC, I will not speak politically again. I don't think that's the way, but I will show myself. I'll show myself to be a man with values, a man with great skills, and you will see what an Israeli looks like, and not what you hear from all of these weird media platforms, you know. And you will see it firsthand. And I think that also drives me to showcase the truth. And that's it. That's why I never had an ounce of fear. Even when I fought in Liverpool, just a few months after, 2 months after October 7th, I got a lot of messages that they're coming with buses to really hurt me, hurt my coaches, hurt everything. In one of my hardest fights and biggest fights in my career, and I hadn't an ounce of fear in me, even then, because I knew that they're all just BS. So I'm not afraid of BS, and I'm all into standing for what's true. I'm not a very militant guy. I'm like, no, war, everything, but I'm all about the truth, all about the truth. And I think this war and everything went just out of hand worldwide.
Powerful message, man. Powerful message. And people don't know that often they try to threaten or silence Israeli athletes, Israeli singers, actors, performers, influencers, basically anyone who stands with Israel and or outside of the state of Israel gets a lot of threat and pressure often and trying to cancel him and close him. I know a lot of YouTube channels, that started working really hard. One of them was doing a great history job, just explaining history, and his YouTube channel just got shut down and closed, and etc. Because people report all the time and lie in the reports, and then they just do the algorithm, and they're like, okay, let's take down this channel. People don't like it, but they don't know that this system is becoming a supportive system for the bullies, for the majorities to bully the minority. But if we ever get to have someone like Sean in the UFC, I think that'll be a great honor, just showing the true state, the true color of Israel and a minority from Israel standing out there. But I want to ask you questions because I see a lot of Americans nowadays are trying to paint Israel, not a lot of Americans, but we're seeing more and more voices there, trying to paint Israel as a country that is oppressing Arabs, minorities, and Christians. Now, you are a minority from Israel. You are a clear, call it Arab ethnical minority, or they come from the Arab culture that grew up in Israel, one of the smallest minorities on the face of this earth, the Druze, if you haven't heard of them. Some of you might have heard what's happening in Syria, and they've been suffering their own version of October 7, ongoing right now, literally suffering ethnical cleansing and trying to erase this beautiful community and religion and culture from the face of the earth. So, Druze who are suffering oppression all over the world, except from Israel mostly, I would say in the Middle East. And you are a Druze from that community.
Hmm.
Sorry, I got something here. And you're a Druze from the community who grew up in Israel. Let's pinpointing one question at a time. How are Christians, in your eyes, treated in Israel?
Very well.
Do you know any Christians in Israel? Like,
A lot of Christians, a lot of Christians. And if they are against Israel, it's again, it's culturally, it's their circles, it's affecting them. It's never the country does something to them. If you want to say the country, like let's say any country, Syria, Lebanon, or how it acts with its citizens, you cannot say that the country of Israel is not acting very well with Christians and with a lot of love and with a lot of affection. And of course, you can paint anything as if you are in a circle and with the people that hate Israel, you can paint anything like they hate Christians, they hate Druze, they hate Muslims, you are the Druze, Mansour. Do you think Israel is hard on you, is bad for you, is doing harm for you?
I'm
I
the
get a lot.
luckiest. Yeah. I think me and you are among the luckiest Jews in the Middle East to be born in Israel, to have our government run by Jewish people, and to have our neighbors as Jewish people and Christians, by the way.
Yeah,
Our village, where we grew up in, have a church in it and a whole
right.
community. You have many Christians living among the Druze in Israel, many Druze living among the Christians. We're all living among the Jews. And that's the only place that you can freely practice your religion in the Middle East. Period. Only place that you
Yeah.
feel protected by the law. Period.
And still, you probably know them because I remember you interviewed Jews from Lebanon, and I get a lot of messages from around the world. By the way, a lot of them are supporting Israel, but from Jews that how can you be a Jew and be with that flag under you or with you? How can you do? You are a shame. You are that. You're how, as a Druze in Syria, that just now Muslims have shaved your mustaches, and all my Instagram is filled with like shaving, you know, how you call it, sakina giluach and everything. Say that. Like, when did Israel did something wrong to the Druze anywhere around the world? So that tells you if communities like Christians go against Israel, like uh, Druze, that Muslims, the Jewish goes against Israel, it's mainly that brainwash, you know, it's painting that story again like they do to all Palestinians, that they do to all this free Palestine propaganda and everything. It's just it's never based on facts and truth. It's based on like flat earth information, you know, it's
And
based on connect.
emotions, yeah. Flat
Yeah,
Earth, conspiracy, and emotions.
they connect your dots and like they show you you can find anything today in the internet. They show you IDF soldiers do something to like kids in Gaza or that, and somehow they connect it. Even though I was in the army and I know how our army is operating, and I know what happens to someone, IDF soldiers that does something to a citizen that is wrong. So and they try to paint it and then they show it, and then you see Americans see those stuff and easily being swayed by it. Even they can show it, even like Jewish do something to Christians and paint it like they just have so powerful like media strength or leverage so they can push whatever narrative they want
Yeah, we
in
know
a
who
way that
control the
it's hard to
media.
fight.
Yeah, we know who control the media, and it's definitely not Israel, guys. But by the way, to what you said right now, I think that's powerful. Show me where are they grabbing Druze men and shaving their mustaches. Show me where is the government grabbing Christian men and making them walk on their knees and bark like dogs before they execute them. Show me where the government is going around kidnapping young Yazidi girls and taking them and just selling them in the market all around the Middle East as sex slaves. Show me where are they doing all these atrocities. And I can tell you one thing. I can tell you one thing place that is not happening in the Middle East, and it's happening in a lot of places. That is Israel. That is the only place that you're actually not seeing the government going around and the people murdering, kidnapping, humiliating human beings, civilians on a daily base. This is happening on a daily base. Everything I said right now, go look at Sudan. In less than 10 days, more humans were murdered in Sudan by Muslims than the entire war of Gaza. These are staggering numbers. Just let that sink in. By the way, since the war on October 7th started, the same time frame, the war in Sudan reignited again. It's been going on for 42 years. More than 3.5 million people died in the most horrific way. Civilians, innocent people there. There's a real genocide there happening against the Christians and against the black people by the brown Arabs. I'm a brown Arab, so I can say it. Anyone who want to try to say, oh, how dare you? In general, I don't like these cancel cultures. But my point is that in the last 2 years, more than 400,000 civilians, humans, have been butchered in Sudan. That's the same time frame as October 7, and no one is talking about it. So, really, guys, myself here, Sean Pero, others are among the many minorities in Israel who are trying to raise their voice and show the world a true picture of the true nature of Israel. And I know we took it to a political place here, but I felt it was important for me and for him. But I want to circle back again to your fight. To those who join the show soon, can you tell us when is the date, where is the place, and how can people watch your fight, your next fight?
Okay, so it's gonna be 13th December in Santa Catarina, Florianopolis, here in Brazil, and it's gonna be under the Nascimento Arena Fight organization, which is I believe a local organization that have been doing some very good events around Florianopolis, and this is the birthplace of Gian Silva, one of my great friends and contenders in the UFC. Maybe he will come and be in my corner again,
Wow.
and that's it. Yeah, against a good fighter, lifting our flag high and taking another step toward the big league.
Wow. That would be amazing. That would be a cool guy to have in your corner, man. And
Yeah,
if someone can sponsor a flight for me to Brazil, I'll be in his corner as well. As
let's
a
go.
cameraman, as a guy shouting, giving him tips, work on the leg a little bit, I'll try to give you a motivational speech, when you're in the corner there.
That will be cool.
That would be epic. No, no, I know you're in good hands, man. I'll just try not to disturb the professionals from doing their job. But yeah, guys, I want to finish the episode very soon. I want to thank you, Sean, for coming to the show.
Thank you.
By the way, Sean again have a YouTube channel where he does his YouTube videos where he explain and break down fights and explain about all kind of things. Also, he follow his journey. He shows it all the time in his Instagram, behind the scenes. How does a MMA fighter, train the mindset of a champion, the mindset of someone who is, working on his body and his brain. By the way, these glasses he gave me, that's from the Fighting Nerds. They're not real glasses, as you can see. But he have a fascinating club called the Fighting Nerd that is working about the brain and the body together, which is very important for a fighter. Go follow him. And Sean is also a gamer. If people don't know, big
Let's
time
go.
into the Dark Souls and Elden Ring, right?
This is waiting for me to do something with. Not a lot of time in this camp, but
Chick
soon,
ching. Here we go,
soon
man.
we will get our time, brother.
Soon let's do streaming together. Let's do game
Let's
streaming
go,
together.
bro.
That'll be fun. Talking about
Yeah,
fighting, UFC stuff, workout, fitness, politics, and special forces as we go and conquer the Elden Ring.
amazing. Let's go.
What a
I've
dream
already
would that
conquered
be?
it. Let's go.
The purpose of the glasses, someone is asking. Maybe you want to explain what is the purpose of the glasses. And by the way, I think Montan is a Druze. Anyone who's a Druze in the show here, please raise a hand, show us, tell me you're Druze. We'll give a shout out, to all the Druze from two Druze out there. So, what are the glasses for?
The glasses are just the brand, let's say, because it's like they call it like payback bully time, kind of, so the smart people now pay back, because as a species also, humans have always evolved through their brains and not through their brute force. And these glasses are the symbol of mind over body, the symbol of control, of intelligence, and it's just a symbol. It's a genius branding and marketing by the fighting nerds, I guess. Now
I love
anybody
it.
who knows who see those glasses must be afraid. That's how they say, because this is the fighting nerds.
I love it. I love it. I can't wait for this club to get bigger and bigger. I think they got it all. They got the branding, they got the mindset, they got the brain, they got the muscle, they got the
And just
technique.
yesterday, Carlos Prates just knocked out Leon Edwards, former UFC champion in UFC New York, and the fighting nerds best striker probably. He knocked him out cold. So that's another big win
That
for
was
the
a
team.
fighting nerd fighter. That was a fighting
That
nerd
is,
guy.
yeah, fighting nerd. It's fighting nerd that smokes and drinks, but a fighting nerd.
Man, Leon Edwards, that's a big name.
Yeah, he beat Leon Edwards. Yeah, he knocked him out in the second round, and the Carlos Prates probably will be the first
Whoa.
champion of the team. A lot of those teams don't have a lot of contenders, even big teams. They have like one or two. We have four already in the top 15. All of them are contenders, or all of them are looking to be champions. And yesterday, Islam Makhachev won the welterweight title, and Carlos Prates won his knockout against Leon Edwards. So we might see Islam Makhachev vs the Fighting Nerds soon. So this is
Wow.
also a big fight to watch for. So
That would be
this
a
team is
big fight,
is, is
man.
not so small anymore.
You guys are on fire. Someone said there was an MMA fighter who was a real monster, who was a nerd. First one comes to mind
Gian
is
Silva.
who?
Gian Silva.
Gian Silva. No, he's talking. Yeah, true, but he's talking like someone that was like a nerd in his life. Also, that maybe the
Uh,
nerding big fighters that I can think about is what's his name? That guy that was a firefighter also that lost
Stipe
against
Miocic.
Stipe Miocic. He kind of have a little bit of a nerd, as you can say. Like he's not the average
Yeah.
jocks,
Yeah, I
and
don't think he's a nerd, but we had some nerds for sure. We had some professors, we had some people that left the academy to go for fighting. I don't have something out of my mind, but a lot of them. I'll tell you something like that. A lot of those high level UFC fighters are much smarter than you think. Yeah, a lot of them are dumbasses, as we know some of them. Bryce Mitchell, but a lot of them also are very smart guys. Some of them had the academy like PhDs and stuff like that. And I think you need your brain to be very successful in this game.
yeah, yeah. He said his name was by the way, the discussion with Yara. Whoever haven't watched this show, go and watch it. Talking to Yara and her sister Lena, two Druze girls, was a very important podcast I did. He said barn cat. Yeah, maybe. I don't think that I know many like real nerds up until you guys are coming right now that
Uh-huh.
are famous UFC fighters. Fedor Malianko. He was not a nerd. He was just a really different type of human.
Yeah,
But his name was Tamadan
I
Makori.
just watched his name. I don't know this guy, but
Yeah, we'll check
cool.
him out. We'll check him out. But anyway, guys, yeah, follow Sean again here, and who knows, maybe you'll see anytime soon me and him doing some gaming streaming just for fun. Leave it in the comment if you want to see that. An MMA fighter and a former special forces sitting around playing computer games and talking about it could be fun. Could be a fun show to watch.
Yeah,
But in general, I want to thank
little bit of break.
a little bit of break, exactly. But yeah, I promised my kid I'm gonna do something with him, so I'm gonna have to cut this show right now, guys. I want to say to everybody, stay safe, don't do anything stupid, and in general, go and follow this legend and go and watch his fight. That's a great way to support. Watch his fight, share his content. For these fighters, the more they get, like politicians, the more they get the people talking about them, the more interesting people are interested in getting them into the right place, and in this case into the right fights and the right arenas and etc. So we want to help him not only in the ring but also outside the ring. I am definitely in your corner, brother. Anything I can do to help you or any Drews out there, my channel is all yours. Stay safe, don't do anything stupid. In general, don't do anything that I would do.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, brother.
Thank you. Let's end it.